Hello everyone. Bitcoin dumped, of course, altcoins followed and dumped even harder. So a lot to talk about in today's video. We're gonna be taking a look at Bitcoin, of course. Maybe quickly take a look at some altcoins as well, maybe some commodities, indices, we'll see. Before we get into the video, first of all, if you enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube. We're getting close to 10k subs. So it would be lovely if you're watching and you're not subscribed to hit the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. And lastly, big thanks to PrimeXBT. PrimeXBT is a exchange where you can not only trade crypto, but also commodities, indices, and Forex, all in a single place on a single exchange. I'll leave a link in the description, which you can use to get a deposit bonus of up to $7,000, as well as if you use that link in the description and make a deposit, you're free to join my Discord group where I post all of my trades live, post more analysis, where we have a community where we talk. So if you want to join that, again, it's completely free. All I'm asking is to use the link in the description from PrimeXBT, sign up and make a deposit. Send me a DM on Discord and we'll sort things out. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at the markets. Starting off with Bitcoin. Quickly gonna remove these for now. So what we had since last week, right? Last couple of weeks, last 4 weeks to be more precise, is we were trading in a range, right? Like we're seeing a lot on Bitcoin. A range with the range lows as this low, the range highs, simply the all-time high. Okay, why that range? We got the breakout out of the 100 to 110k range, right? Broke out significantly, and then from this high, we dumped, right? That was the high where we topped, all-time high. And from that high in one go, we went to this low where we bounced again, right? And made a lower high. So that's why I took these as our extreme range levels. What confirms the range? The pivotal price section around range mean. As you can see, acting as resistance, broke above, but instantly smashed back below. Retest, sold off, swept the lows, right? Not really that aggressively, but we did sweep the lows all the way back, but rejected at range mean again. Now back to the lows again, right? I swept these lows again and back below range lows, right? So from last week, I was bullish. I have been bullish in this entire range, saying that I thought / think that we would still trade higher, right? And that this isn't the top for Bitcoin. And I am still targeting higher. But unfortunately from last week, right, I was looking for higher prices from here, or from here, after the retest here of range lows, and that didn't happen, right? So what's next? That's the big question. Well, for me personally, it's for now at least a waiting game until I see a weekly close. Why? So yeah, obviously me personally, and I think a lot of people didn't expect us to do this from here, but we did. But that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. Why not? Could simply mean that we needed more liquidity taken to the downside before having the strength to move higher. And what I mean with that is maybe this sweep of range lows didn't quite dip low enough, right, to take liquidity, which could be the reason why we didn't have strength here to break above range mean and trade towards new highs. Maybe they simply wanted us to take liquidity below here again, right? And now we still could have the same plan of reclaiming range low and from there having the strength to trade towards range highs. All right, a good example of this is the range that we've had in the 110 to 100k and 110k range. From here, what did we see? Right, we saw a local sweep of the lows all the way back up, but fail to break above these highs, back to the lows, chop, a more aggressive sweep of these lows again, and look at what that led to. Boom, smashed back above here, and then some more ranging and a breakout to the upside. So what if we're having something similar right here, where we just needed another sweep of this, now we smash back above here, and then trade higher from there? I think there's a high probability, personally, that we see something like that. But the more important question is, what confirms that? Well, and it's just like we've seen down here. And basically what I always want to see if I'm seeing an aggressive sweep of range lows, what confirms that it was a liquidity take and not a breakdown. Because what's the difference between breaking down of a range and sweeping the lows and reclaiming the range? Well, the amount of time we stay below range low levels and the fact whether we see continuation to the downside or not. So what you want to see here, if you're bullish and you want the scenario of this being another local sweep that leads to the highs, if you want to see that play out, what you want to see is strength and a reclaim of range lows and a strong close back above here. What you don't want to see is for us to just start bleeding, trade down here for the next couple days, a bearish weekly close below here, because at that point I think it's more likely that we roll over and retest at least 112k. All right, so for me personally, I didn't close my longs on this sweep, as I think that this is simply a range low sweep and another sweep, sort of 3-tap scenario, where we could still see a break above here and liquidity getting taken higher. Okay, another main reason why I don't think that this is the top is because of the amount of highs that we left untapped to the upside. We left this one, this one, all untapped. So I personally wouldn't be surprised if in the coming days we see this close back up here and then see really continuation towards here, at least to sweep liquidity above 120k. I was talking about 121k when we were trading here, and that was for a reason. Well, because we swept some local lows here into the retest of range low, and we had these untapped highs to the upside, right? I'm personally long from a lot lower, right? Posted this trade live from here, targeting 130k, and I still believe there is a good chance that we still see higher from here. But if we do make it, like for this position, I've closed some, already at 111. Then I left it running. Then I closed some again. Then I added on a dip. So my average entry is a little bit higher at the moment. But this was the original trade where I initially longed, right? And for this one, I was looking for 121k to de-risk a little bit more, and that's still the area that I'm going to be watching. So if we do something like this, where we do indeed trade higher from here, do something like this, consolidate, grab liquidity above here, I will be closing some just in case we want to trade lower from there after grabbing liquidity above these highs from there, and then seeing something like this, right? From there, it would make more sense to trade lower than from here, in my opinion. So in my opinion, it's still higher before a lot lower, but we'll see what we get. These, by the way, as you can see, I posted this on Twitter this morning, was just to give you an illustration that that this breakdown out of the range doesn't necessarily need to be seen as a breakdown, but could just be a liquidity grab lower, right? Where we had something similar here, liquidity grab, then another run. Everyone here was also calling for a lot lower, right? Everyone was bearish, and then we did this, and some continuation. Well, right now, most people are bearish as well. Everyone thinks it's over. What if we do this? I go to 121k, everyone will be full bull again. So yeah, we'll see, all right? But my plan is simply to wait out the next couple of days, see what prices do. If they reclaim here and we see strength, I'll be holding on to longs. If we see a bearish weekly close below range lows and it's looking weak, then I'll likely reevaluate and might close off some of my longs. All right. Then what's next? Binance coin, right? We longed, swing longed, played out beautifully so far. Unfortunately, we didn't close any up here as I thought it was going to go higher, and I still do. But I got my eyes on the weekly, simply on the weekly. Massive close above here, swept last week's high. So could be going for, well, it already went for some lows. Last week's low is resting right here, so that could still get taken. Doesn't necessarily have to do so, okay? So for this one, I simply think that the next couple of days will be ranging right in between here and last week's low. So I could see something like this where we sweep last week's low and then back up to the highs. Where do I flip full bullish again? If we reclaim this, boom, and then likely we trade higher and see continuation to 1k. All right, not just 1k because it's a nice number, but also because it lines up with the 1.618 level, which is the Fibonacci level of the most recent down swing that led to the move to all-time highs. All right, so still holding this one for now as well. Then we have Ethereum. In my opinion, if you look at it from a standpoint like this, there's absolutely nothing bearish about this. Let me go to the weekly. Okay, my levels are gone here. Oh, there they are. What happened here, right? So significant upside, swept some highs here into supply. Normally, it's normal that we're just ranging a bit here, halting a bit here. But where's real liquidity going to be resting? Well, above these equal highs, which is at 4.1k. So I still think that Ethereum trades towards that level, either from here or what do we have here? A beautiful lower time frame range with these as the highs and this as the lows. So I could still see a run on those lows, something like this, then a reclaim, and then trade higher from there. Okay, so if you see something like this, I will be adding to longs, look for new setups on the sweep, targeting 4.1k. I see absolutely no reason why you should be fully bearish here on Ethereum after the significant upside that we saw into 3.8, 3.9k. All right, so also on this one, still think higher. Then maybe quickly stocks are retracing a bit. But yeah, as you can see on the 3-day chart, on the weekly, we're still in a bullish uptrend, in my opinion. Simply retesting this consolidation. As long as this holds, I think we will be trading higher. All right. Gold, right, made it to these highs again, but got rejected. This is the same chart that I've had since we built up this range. I said either I want to see a reclaim of this level, which is the level we haven't managed to close above on the daily. And as you can see on this one, failed again, traded lower, swept some local lows, now back up again. So I said daily close above there, or I want to see a sweep lower of these lows and then a reclaim. Didn't happen as well. So still waiting game for me. Seeing some strength now this morning, which is a good sign, but still looking for a reclaim of this for that next swing to the upside. All right. Silver similarly also dipped right after last week. We got rejected pretty hard after sweeping some local highs. Retesting this consolidation again, right? As long as this holds and we reclaim this, I think more significant upside going into the next couple of weeks. All right. So for now, I think like the market's nuked a bit, but in my opinion, not necessarily need to mean that we have topped, right? It's classic after downside like this that a lot of people are gonna be calling for a top. I'm seeing it again on Twitter. Do your own thing, right? Trade the charts, trade what you see, don't trade what you want to see, right? Of course, we want to see upside. We always do. But focus on the chart, right? Focus on what the chart is telling you. And for me, at this moment, I see that we took liquidity to the downside. We are bouncing. So as long as we see some strength here in the coming hours, in the coming days, right? I think the opposite side of liquidity that has just been taken is next, which should be liquidity above 121K. All right. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Thanks to PrimeXBT, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.